temp6t, a popular Pokemon Showdown YouTuber, was playing a big game versus an OU Smogon moderator, and he decided to bring a level 1 Lechonk. He was playing a best of 3 versus Ozma, one of the 9 OU council members, in an event known as Scarlet and Violet Fight Nights. Most tiering is done through a public vote, but the OU council generally handles the operations and are some of the better players on the website. Now, this was an interesting series because of the narrative around it. temp6t is the most popular Pokemon Showdown YouTuber, and a lot of his content is about using gimmicky strategies. They're fun, but not necessarily competitive. Generally speaking, if a strategy is a gimmick, there's a reason for it. Maybe it's not very consistent, or maybe it only works if the opponent doesn't know what's happening. People play to win, so if a gimmick was good, people would use it and it wouldn't be a gimmick in the first place. So a lot of people don't know, is temp6t actually good at the game, or does he just make videos about beating people who are low on the ladder? There were also some stakes on the line too. If Temp lost the best of 3, he would have to delete his most popular YouTube video, which is kind of a big deal. So what happened? In game 1, temp6t won pretty convincingly. He was actually using a stall team with Pokemon like Toxapex, Unaware Quagsire, and Thunder Wave defensive Goldengo. Goldengo is more known for its offensive movesets, but it can use Recover and Thunder Wave to be an annoying defensive tank. Meanwhile, Ozma was using a very offensive team with powerful threats like Annihilape and Chi-Yu. Annihilape and Chi-Yu are actually banned now for being overpowered, but at the time of the game they were legal. The game was pretty smooth for the most part. Nasty Plot Chi-Yu is a big threat for stall, but it was handled by Roaring Moon and a well-timed Terra Dark Garganacl. There was a little bit of a scare with Dragon Dance Dragapult, but it was handled by Unaware Quagsire, who ignores the attack boost. Temp would clean up and head to game 2 where it got extremely interesting. temp6t brought a level 1 Lechonk. Obviously, he did have the cushion of a 1-game lead, but bringing Lechonk is very ambitious. The idea with any level 1 Pokemon is often that you want to use Focus Sash and Endeavor to bring a Pokemon down to 1 HP. It's very much a gimmick strategy and it's not seen at all in competitive play. There are many ways to stop it, like Ghost-type Pokemon, and that's the main problem. Lechonk's Endeavor strategy will never work because there's a Ghost-type Pokemon in Annihilape. It's basically a 5 vs 6 now because Lechonk can't do anything, and that's the risk you take when you use a gimmick strategy. If you look closely, Temp's team is the same as his Game 1 team, but with Lechonk instead of Roaring Moon. Meanwhile, Ozma is using more of a balanced team. The game proceeds normally, just that Temp is playing with 1 less Pokemon than Ozma, or so we think. The main threat for Temp's stall team is going to be Bulk Up Substitute Annihilape. Because Rage Fist is a boost to the move's power and not a stat boost, Unaware from Quagsire does not work on Rage Fist. temp6t is using a stall team which doesn't have a lot of strong attacks, so it's tough to get good damage on Annihilape. It can substitute to block status moves, and every time you hit it with a weak attack, Annihilape gets stronger. Annihilape would end up getting banned because of how strong the Bulk Up Rage Fist moveset is, and now temp6t had to figure out how to stop it. The game was mainly about denying entry for that Annihilape. Annihilape can win the game, but it has to be done correctly. For example, if you switch into something like Toxapex's Toxic, it's game over. Finding a way to get Annihilape in and getting it to work is the most important part of this entire game. So what temp6t did was he tried to deny entry to Annihilape, and he used Spikes, Quagsire, and Stealth Rock Garganacl to get hazards up and then slowly remove Rapid Spin Great Tusk. By doing that, he could make sure that Annihilape would take large damage while trying to switch in. It's only one piece of the puzzle, but it's a good strategy to limiting Annihilape. It was a pretty drawn out game, relatively methodical, which is to be expected when someone's using a stall team. The climax happened with Annihilape trying to set up on Salt Cure Garganacl. Salt Cure does damage every turn even if Garganacl switches out. This is notably different from other moves like Magma Storm. The gamble here is that Ozma is backing Drain Punch Recovery to recover more than Salt Cure can do damage, and that Annihilape can win the game like that. At this point it's all or nothing because Annihilape can't come back in later because it took too much hazard damage. It has to win the game now or it's all over. And this is where Lechonk comes in. Temp's original plan of using Lechonk with Endeavor did not work. But instead, because it has level 1 and has low HP, it means that if Annihilape ever uses Drain Punch versus it, Annihilape doesn't heal a lot of HP back. So by using Lechonk as a Drain Punch sacrifice, he stops the plan of Annihilate healing with Drain Punch, while not risking another Pokemon fainting to Rage Fist because Lechonk is a normal type and is immune to Rage Fist. And now, because he denied healing from Annihilate, the game's over. Without the Stall Breaker, there's no way to break Stall, and Temp goes on to win from there, winning 2-0 versus the OU Council with a Lechonk in Game 2. In truth, there were probably other ways to win, like with Baneful Bunker Toxapex. It would have been slightly more complicated, but I guess it is true that Lechonk did make it easier, and level 1 Lechonk did in fact do something that game. Would he have gotten more value out of an actual Pokemon instead of Lechonk? Probably, but he essentially won with one less Pokemon, and it's a fun story that he beat the OU Council with a Lechonk. What did you think of the game? The replay is in the description, and let me know what you think down in the comment section below.